Hi, welcome to Switching Mindsets. This is Anuradha, and today we have back with us Anand Neelakantan, who is out with his new book, The Asura Way, The Contrarian Path to Success. A best-selling author, columnist, screenwriter, television personality, cartoonist, and motivational speaker. He is renowned for his contributions to mythological fiction and has authored 15 books in English and one in Malayalam. He debuted with Asura, Tale of the Vanquished in 2012, and his other bestsellers include the Ajaya series, Vanar, The Legend of Bali, Sugriv and Tara, the Bahubali trilogy, and Valmiki's Women, Nal Damayanti, among a few. Many others. So over to Anand. Hi, how are you?
Hi, and brother, pleasure talking to you again.
Yeah, yeah. So, getting right into it, I mean, like I said, your book was really fun to read. And, what you've said that basically we're living in the age of Kali Yuga, and you said that those who want contentment can go to the Himalayas and contemplate all this detachment and no more, no lobe, no growth, things like that. But this is Kali Yuga of the Asuras. So, could you explain? Yeah.
Actually, when the Britishers started ruling us, they played a big scam on us. They didn't want this country to rise and attack them. They didn't want us to fight for the freedom. One of the myth they propagated is that India is a very inwardly looking civilization. It's very spiritual, and they are not bothered about day-to-day life. They can live in poverty after looting us. These are the things they taught us, and many of the Indians, including the Renaissance movement, which happened because of the British rule, they also imbibed all these things. So suddenly, Bhagavad Gita became the book of the holy book of Hindus. Bhagavad Gita was one among many holy books of India. It's just one among them. But this entire cottage industry of how to use Gita to live and a lot of pop psychology, everything is from them. So essentially, what we lost is the capability to think rationally, capability to think in a materialistic way. So the Europeans were progressing materialistically, they were progressing with science, technology, and other things, and they bracketed us as spiritual people. And all that we had to offer was some yoga and some Ayurveda, which is not a bad thing, but only that. And the rest of everything was suppressed. But if you see the classical languages of Sanskrit, Tamil, and Pali, might be having the maximum number of atheist and rationalistic literature in the world. India always celebrated materialism. If you really think, we are perhaps one of the few civilizations which have a goddess for wealth and a god for wealth also, Kubera, a goddess for wealth also, Mahalakshmi, one among the Tridevis. The Purusharthas, what they talked about, they always talked about Artha and Kama. Dharma was there, which was the base, but Artha and Kama. Artha has many meanings, but one of the meaning is money, prosperity, and Kama. Kama is not just passion, Kama is about beauty, Kama is about materialistic progress, Kama is about how to live. We talked about all those things later. So it was always a balanced approach. Look at our festivals. They are so colorful. Look at the gods. None of them look impoverished. No? At least only the modern uh, gods which came in the later era, as Fakis and other things, they have an impoverished look.
Yeah.
Otherwise, other than that, the classical Indian gods, all of them are decked in all prosperity. They are very materialistic to look at it.
Yeah, yeah. Even the
It's so much
clothes and the
gold,
offerings to them are all in gold and silver and
offerings to
jewelry.
them, gold and silver. And so, where did we come? This is what the Britishers admit that we are a spiritual civilization. And we don't think about this world. It's all about looking inside, getting enlightenment, nothing. These were all pursued by a small sector of people. Those kind of people will be still pursuing it. They should go to Himalayas rightly or whichever place will offer them that kind of mental peace. Rest of us who live in this world, in this materialistic world, in the big bad world of Kali, needs all the Asura politics to survive is the argument in my book of this book of the Asura Way.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I completely subscribe to it because, when I was reading it, I was like, yeah, oh my God, you know these things. You always say that, this Rishi said, don't be angry, or this God said, don't be angry, or we are told that they said, don't be angry. That's how we interpret it. But actually, they were angry all the time. They were busy cursing. All the Rishis were cursing everybody, as you've written. Huh? Left, right, and center, they
Most
were
of the
cursing
rishis
everybody.
were left, center, and at the drop of their kamandalu. They don't wear hat.
Drop of a Kamandal, yeah.
So the drop of the kamandalu or so they used to curse not just humans or other gods or each other. There is this, I had written about that story also. No? There is this story of Shakti and Kanvashavada. The hilarious story of Shakti, and a lot of humorous stories are there in the Purana. So Shakti and Kanvashavada, I think I had written the story in the Asura Way. One king and one rishi, crux of it's a long story. I think I have put in detail. Crux of it I'll tell. One rishi and one Vashishta's son rishi and one king from Vishwamitra's lineage. They came face to face on a bridge. The bridge was so narrow that only one person could pass. Now an argument started between these two people. Who? The rishis who say you should not have any ahankar. So he started saying that you should move for me because I am a rishi. You should show me respect. These are not the
Right.
signs of ahankar, right? They're all the signs of humility. He says, and the other person says, I am a king. I take care of all the rishis. You move. Let me move first. It became a big thing, and immediately the rishi took water from his kamandalu, chanted, and said that let you be a man-eating rakshas. The
Huh.
nearest man is the rishi itself, so he eats him up.
There was a lot of stories you said even about this manifesting, no? Like if all these 33 crore gods have just got this job of saying tathastu to everything, no? So that
That's a
thing that,
folk tale which
yeah, yeah,
my
yeah.
parents used to say, my grandparents used to say. It's
Hmm,
about Tadastu. That's the tale where only Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva
hmm,
and their consorts have some job.
yeah,
Brahma has to create, and once he creates, then he is free. Because
hmm,
for after all the four yugas, only he has to do something.
yeah, yeah.
The Brahma creates, and then Vishnu has to preserve. He has the toughest job, and Shiva will come in the climax and destroy it.
Hmm,
Other
hmm,
than that, and then their wives have enough jobs. In
hmm,
the sense, Saraswati has to take care of knowledge, and Parvati is the goddess of Shakti, and
hmm,
Lakshmi has
hmm.
to take care of wealth.
Yeah,
But there are so many 33 crores gods. Some people now
yeah.
argue that there are only 33 gods, whatever it is. Rest of the gods don't have much of a job.
Hmm, hmm.
Not a very busy portfolio they have. So they go to Brahma and ask, "What should we do?
Yeah.
We are feeling bored. The
Hmm,
maximum we can do is in the heaven we can watch the dance of Brahma, Tilottama,
hmm,
Urvashi,
hmm.
Vinayaka,
What
and
a
all.
great life. Yeah,
Great life. That's why
yeah.
it's called heaven. So they are, but after some time it also gets boring.
Yeah,
So they
yeah.
say, what should we do whenever we are getting free time? So Brahma says, the humans keep on bothering me, asking for various things. Do one thing.
Hmm,
Just sit there and say, Tadastu, let it be so, let it be so.
hmm,
So whatever thoughts we are having, no, we are
hmm.
thinking good. Also, all these gods are sitting and saying, "Let it be so." You are
Because they
thinking
don't know any
negative thought.
better. And that's what you said, they don't know any better. So that's their
Ah,
job. So they're just saying, okay, okay,
so
okay
they
to
say,
everything.
"Okay." So the moment you are thinking negative, see, basically these are all taught by the parents and grandparents in the traditional households to think positive.
Think
Actually,
positive. Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
the moment you think negative thoughts, no, all these gods will be saying, "Tadastu, let it be so." That
yeah.
negative things will happen.
Yeah, like that
So the,
mendicant you said, that poor sadhu who's sitting under a tree and he realizes everything's coming true. And then he wishes for these
that is
three
another.
apsaras. Huh. And suddenly they
That is
turn into
another.
tigers. He said, what if they turn into tigers and they eat him? So you basically said that, let the thought come, stay with you, let it go. Immediately
Let it
replace
go.
it, no? Replace it. Yeah. Yeah.
So then I was answering in my argument that always thinking positive is not possible.
It's
It
not
is something
possible.
which
It's not possible. And that is what everybody says that, the power of manifestation, think positive. And you're right, it's not possible. Even what you've written about envy, anger, it is not possible. And you've said, that don't feel envious, don't feel guilty for feeling envy. It is natural, but like, and don't envy the person, but that thing. Otherwise, you will, because we are always told, like, think of somebody who is worse off than you. right? But that is not the way to live your life in this Kali Yuga, as you say, you know.
Always you will have to think of people who are better off than you. Why should you think of people who are worse than you? You will always compassionate. That's a separate thing. What are the fundamentals of Charvaka's philosophy of Indian rationalism, which has got
Yes,
nothing to
yes.
do
I
with
want to talk about that, yeah, because you've really talked about it and you said that people who are basically thinking of heaven and not living here, they're actually idiots. And you've also mentioned, like you just spoke, that it's not just a spiritualist society, Indian, we are a materialistic society, and ancient, texts have talked about it, the Puranas, etc., the Ajivikas, the Charvaka, etc. So, like if you can just talk about that in some detail, like that is our heritage, really.
actually our heritage. See, I won't say that is our heritage. That is also our heritage. Is the right way to put
Right,
it.
right. Also our heritage, yes.
That was an equally strong movement. So every thought which has originated in India, there has been a counter thought for it. We have been on now we are emphasizing only on one kind of thought, especially since it fetches votes for politicians. So they all and it fetches a lot of money for the sadhus, the modern day
Yeah, the
sadhus.
Lokayata philosophy you said, now, which looks at both sides, basically, the rationalistic side.
Lokayata is more like it was the most one of the most popular philosophy, especially second century, third century. Even Buddha's contemporaries were that Buddha is almost a half Lokayata or half Charvaka. He doesn't
Okay,
talk about God.
I'll let you speak. You can explain it well, yeah. Huh.
Uh, so what happens is they were taught they were like there were also different extremes of it. There were agnostics, there were atheists. So the atheistic position was Brahma Vidya, Jagat Satya, the opposite of what Shankaracharya said, or the opposite of Advaita. They say that whatever we are experiencing only is right.
Right.
Maybe it is wrong.
What you
It is
see,
not that
right?
what you
Hmm.
see. Ah. So at the surface, it will look like very childish argument. There are so many things which you cannot see and experience. But their counter argument for that is that if I experience it, then it is not true for me. Theoretically, all these things, what you are saying, maybe there is a Brahma. That's agnostic position. Maybe there is a Brahma. Or maybe there is all these things you talk about, all these anubhuti, all these things, what you get. You do so many things you list out various ways. All those things may be right for you. I don't care for you. For me, I'm living in this moment. This is my way. I'm enjoying my life. I don't think there is anything after the life. I will enjoy the life. Maybe it is there. I will see when it is there at that time. I live in this moment. I enjoy to the core in this moment. And I live. Who has seen whether there is heaven? Who has seen whether there is God? Whether something is there after the death? These are not like new thoughts of. Sometimes when some kids talk like this is a natural thought of kids also.
Yeah.
But we
This,
impose stories and instill fear on them and give them stories upon stories so that they conform to the society and the way the priests and other people can control you. Priests
right. Hmm.
and even the elders can control you. So that rebellion we suppress as early as possible because it makes us uncomfortable. But
Yeah.
always Indians had always emphasized on rationally questioning, and that is applicable not just for Lokayatas or Charvakas, it is also applicable for including the, uh, if you see, Gita is a debate, Upanishad is a debate, Shiva and Parvati, all the conversations are debate.
Yeah.
It's a constant conversation of debate. So it was always, there was nothing called commandments. No, this is God has command. Even Gita, after telling the Gita, Krishna says, I have given you the best of the knowledge. That's his claim. And it is up to you to decide. He tells to Arjuna, it is up to you to analyze it using your logic and your experience and take whatever is applicable to you and decide what is right or wrong. So even there, it is a choice. It has never been like this is right, you don't do it, you will go to hell and you will burn there. But is there such Puranas also? Of course, there are such Puranas which were written in the medieval era. Garuda Purana is one which has a lot of such stories where they
Hmm.
talk about punishments on what all you will get if you
Okay.
don't do various things like respecting Brahmins or showing all the doing. certain rituals, if you don't do it, a lot of mistakes. They list out a lot. It's a huge book, if you see. And a very colorful description of how you will be fried, the
My
heaven,
God.
how you burned, how you will be. So when somebody is dead at home, usually they read the Garuda Purana just to instill the fear in you. Premchand's Godan is a take on it, if you really see.
Yeah, I read it long ago.
Actually,
Yeah.
we, it's a take on, like, you have to. The belief is that this all comes in Garuda Purana. You have to gift a cow to a Brahmin, so that why you have to give when you are dead, you will have to pass a river called Vaidarani made of pus, blood, and ooze, whatever dirty things. They will have to pass it. The only way to pass it is the cow you are giving to the Brahmin or the learned man. Later it became a caste, whatever. You are giving to him, that cow will come in its form and take you across this Vaidarani.
Okay.
Otherwise, you will sink in the river of piss and shit.
Okay.
Very colorful, very
Very
colorful
graphic.
description.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
you will have to catch the tail of the cow and then
Yeah.
cross the river. So like that, a lot of stories were written. So on one side, you have people like Charvakas and the Charvakis. These are also, you find them in the Puranas itself,
Yeah.
debating, saying that, did you go to heaven? Who has come back? Who has come
Right.
back and told
Yeah,
you
yeah.
all these things?
Hmm.
The Charvakas even questioned the ceremony of feeding the people, feeding the three Brahmins during the death rituals.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because the belief is that you feed them, your ancestors will get fed. And every year you feed them, Pitrus, 1 day is our 1 year, conveniently. So every year you feed a Brahmin, the Pitrus will be fed. So Charvaka asked this question. Then if somebody is sitting in the, you say heaven is in the sky, and you are feeding somebody here, and the person sitting in the heaven, uh, his hunger will be sated. His hunger, you quench his hunger and taste. This is your theory. So if there are 2 floors in a house, if you eat here in the ground floor, will the person in the first floor get fed? They are not the new
Yeah.
questions. These are like 2,500
Ancient.
old, 3,000-year-old questions, ancient questions.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Then there are other theories also, like everything happens due to a chance, and there is a theory that everything happens because it is all predetermined, it is niyati. So it is a very fascinating world with so many ideas thrown around. Instead, see what we have reduced ourselves to. We have reduced ourselves to just one kind of thought, and we are trying to imitate the Semitic religions, which has one book, a set of commandments, one holy book. Each of them have each. If you observe, the god of each of these religion is a local panchayat god who takes avatar in that panchayat, in that geography, wherever it is, and they give instruction manual only in that particular language where all these
Yeah.
tribes were staying, and to one god has given some set of instruction. The same god goes talks in some other language to some other tribe and gives the opposite instruction of what he has a good sense of humor. If you ask me, he gives the totally opposite set of instruction in the next panchayat, and
Right.
then these two people fight, saying that this is what God has told us and this is what God has told us. And there is one holy book. Everything written in that holy book is right. Anybody who doesn't believe nowadays, at least some religions have somewhat reformed. In medieval era, they used to fight and kill each other, talking about blasphemy, burn people, burn women, calling them witches. All religions did that. These were their times
Yeah,
of.
yeah, of course.
Uh, Not Indian religions, of course. At least at that time, Indian religions had other ways of torturing people. So they were very tolerant about different kind of thoughts. They were only intolerant about the caste system in the medieval era.
Yeah.
You can have any kind of belief as long as you don't come near me and touch me.
Right. Yeah. As
That
long as
was
you
our
follow the
level of
caste system. Yeah.
That was our level. We talk about we are very tolerant people. Yes, we are very tolerant people. Everything what you say about India and its opposite is very true. We are the most tolerant people because we allowed all kind of thoughts to flourish. There is no doubt about that. At the same time, I'm not talking about remote past. I'm talking about say 50 years ago, 75 years ago. 100 years ago, 200 years ago, the written history, 300 years ago, 400 years ago.
Yeah.
Because many of the deny, the tolerance level ended with what is your caste background. Tolerance level ended with how much freedom a woman can have, at
Yeah.
least in the medieval era. So what tolerance we are talking about? So every society had its flaws. Europe came out of it, at least a part of Europe came out of it, at least a group of people in the Europe came out of it when they started talking rationally. And that was an era when the science and technology exploded. And
Yeah.
that was the time they colonized half the world.
Right.
Because they genuinely believed that with ahankar, no, they had that arrogance to believe that we are the chosen people. And it happened. So every civilization thinks itself that they have that kind of confidence and arrogance.
Yeah.
Will ultimately rule the other people.
They
So
were
the more humble
following the Asura way, basically.
they are following. Every society, every conqueror have been following the Asura way and have succeeded in life.
Yeah.
Otherworldly things, that's what I said. Please return to Himalayas or
Himalayas, yeah.
There is no compulsion. You can live in this world, but then don't cry saying that I've been passed over for this. I didn't make enough money. I don't know what to do. My life is all waste. I'm wasting my life. I'm not living my dreams because you are following the wrong manual.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how rational ways and the Charvaka's way work is that you approach everything very critically. I'm not saying go totally on that I will have. There is a kind of balance needed in life.
Yeah.
So the balance is like always think about self-interest first and think rationally about self-interest. So what is a rational self-interest? Irrational self-interest is I will conquer everyone, I will make them all slaves, and I will rule.
Yeah.
That is not self-interest, no.
Right.
Because ultimately it's going to harm you. These people are going to rebel. One day they are going to hang you like how they hang the Tsar and how they guillotined during the French Revolution.
Yeah.
So that is ultimately going to happen. So
yeah.
An enlightened self-interest is always required. Always think about yourself. Always, even when there is these, and there are tales in Indian Puranas which exhibit it a lot of times. Even if you really read Gita also, certain messages we can always argue. But Gita is also about self-interest. The first part of Gita is all about self-interest. What does Krishna say to Arjuna? The Asura Way is the first he says. Then he says a lot of other ways. The first part of Gita is that he says if you fight, you will enjoy the kingdom.
Right.
You will enjoy the fruits of victory. Go and check Gita, no? The first few slokas are
very actual materialistic gains, really.
Very materialistic. And he says if you die, you will go to heaven and enjoy all those things. What does basically all the philosophers and religions do? They offer a post-dated check on an imaginary bank.
Yeah. Yeah. And who has seen that, really?
So Charvakas, who has seen that? But at least if it... but Krishna at least offers a choice. He says that, okay, if you live, you get to enjoy all these things. Even then, when Arjuna is convinced, then he gives a lot of arguments on... Certain people can be convinced only by giving otherworldly arguments.
Yeah.
Pop philosophy and other things. So then all these things are given. So
appeal to his emotional, spiritual side, basically.
Spiritual side. And basically what happens in all these kind of things is that whatever floats your boat, that is the fundamental philosophy all the rishis have taken actually. So that is why you find so many contradictory methods of living advices from India. Because as I said, while on the medieval era caste system and other things had come, which we cannot deny, also the suppression of women became horrible. Until the Hindu court bill came, perhaps we might have been having Hindu women might be having the least rights in the entire world, at least among the people who are under a civilized government. The Hindu court bill actually changed and gave the equality to the Hindu women. Ask somebody who is 80 or 90 how the situation of the grandmothers were. Somebody who is in the 70, they will be remembering about their grandmothers, how they used to live. Just ask them about the widowhood, ask them about
of course.
What all restrictions are there. When we are trying to glorify a lot of things, we should not be blind to all these facts. So this is how the religion, any religion, had treated women and the downtrodden. It's true for most of the religions.
Yeah.
What rationality helps you is to come out of all these kind of restrictions which the religion imposes upon you. So any rishi you see in India, even the medieval rishis, take Kabir, he was a rebel. Take Tulsidas, he was a rebel. Take all the rishis who wrote Ramayana in their respective languages, Dishartachan or Kambar or Eknath, all of them were rebels because all these scriptures were not supposed to be written in the native languages. They were only supposed to be written in the Devabhasha or Sanskrit, but each of them broke that.
Yeah.
Many of the poets like Sarla Das or Iltachan and all, they refused to put Gita in when they translated Mahabharata because it was not appealing for them. Most of the rishis who were not of Brahminical origin have avoided Gita when they are writing Mahabharata. Gita itself is not there. Gita became so important only during the British era for the masses. Of course, there were always a group of people who always swore by Gita. That was always there. Any book,
Of course, yeah.
Tantric books also, a lot of people swear on. A lot of them are there. A lot of texts are there. Each of them had their own text, but Gita as a the holy book is a British, as I said, it's a British era.
Yeah.
When we also thought we need a holy book, and what should we choose? It's Gita. So what about all the Shaivites? What about all the Shaktayas who populated for so many? What about Advaitis? Of course, Gita you can always argue there is a part of Advaita in it. Gita always you can argue there is a part of Vaishnavism in it. That's an argument for the Pandit. But for general people, it had never touched them.
Okay.
Their lives. Why it didn't touch them? Because it is impractical, if you ask me. I had told about it in my Ajaya. You cannot do any. Maybe there are one in a million. There is nothing impossible. No, there is one in a million. Maybe there is one Krishna among all the avatars who comes once in Dwapar Yuga out of all you who can practice the message of Gita. No one else can practically follow it because you can't do any karma in a detached way.
Right, not expecting, without any result.
Not expecting results is itself is an expectation of result. If you think
Yeah, yeah, yes, absolutely. That is also an expectation. Yeah.
And I won't expect. I will do this work without expecting anything. Itself is an expectation. So there is no way. It is a. It becomes very impractical. This is nothing as a. This is nothing. People. It is not a. Don't think there is no concept of blasphemy in Hinduism. Maybe now people may get offended. Then I am already offering advance apologies to them. But I am talking.
Yeah.
I am looking at it from the other side. So how does it work? Even in Mahabharata, if you see, what happened? Arjuna followed Gita. Let us hope he followed Gita, right? That's why he decided to fight. Then what all events happened after that? Who all are detached in that? Is Arjun showing any detachment when he is fighting?
There is no detachment, yeah.
He is expecting results and fighting. He is aiming results and fighting. He is taking irrational promises and vows like I will kill Jayadratha before the sunset. And then Krishna will have to do the manipulation of
and they
making a false
play
sunset.
fair, no? They didn't even play fair in a lot of ways.
Fair. I won't judge them for not playing fair.
Yeah,
They
okay, that's
played
a
the
war.
Asura.
Everything is fair, huh?
They played the Asura way. It's a
Right.
great demonstration. Mahabharata is a great demonstration of Asura way.
Okay. Yeah.
Krishna clearly showed the Asura way to all of us, isn't it? How to win the war.
How to win the war, yeah.
Yeah.
At that moment,
Kaurava,
who's your family, who's your relative, who's what, no? Yeah.
Ultimate, it's a victory. So Pandavas end up sacrificing their own children. They followed Krishna's advice and ended up sacrificing all their 5 children also.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And finally, Yudhishthira cries, what kind of kingdom I have inherited?
Yeah.
What this war was for. And when he knows about Karna also, he cries. I'm not even... Okay, of course, you can argue. Anything we can argue. We can argue talking about whether Karna was whether Karna deserved the kingdom, because Karna was born to Kunti before her marriage. So does he deserve the kingdom? Whether Duryodhana deserved the kingdom? But there's a debate on all of them have right in their side. All of them have their own dharmas in their side. Then if you talk, Yuyutsu is the eldest as per many Mahabharata texts, then he should have got the kingdom, right? He's a merchant. He says, I don't care for the kingdom. He's the only survivor. Merchants don't care. No, merchants are kingmakers. So why should they care for who is the king?
Right.
Even though we see that merchants are the people who decide who should rule.
Yeah, even today, yeah.
Even today, it never changes. That is why Mahabharata is Sambhavami every like that.
Yeah.
Now also it is happening. So Krishna demonstrated a perfect Asura way. How to win. So in many of, including Rigveda, many places there are reference of Krishna as Asura. And Asura is not a bad term. That's why I'm talking about. Asura is what? Asura is the cousins of, half brothers of Devas.
Yeah,
born
of
from
course,
the same father.
Yeah.
Born from the same father. Rakshas is different. Anybody could be a Rakshas. Anybody can be cursed to become a Rakshas.
Yeah, Rakshas is, you say, that's your nature, no? Rakshas pravritti, you say, no?
Rakshas prakriti, or you can be cursed to become Rakshas. So humans become Rakshas, Gandharva become Rakshas in Puranas. Like Tadaka is a Yakshini. But she comes as a Rakshasi.
Yeah.
The Virada, the one who now I'm doing Ramayana for Sony TV. So that we have shown all these things. Virada Virada comes to attack Ram. He kidnaps Sita first before Ramayana. And Ram kills him. And then it turns out that Virada is nobody other than Tumburu. Tumburu is a Gandharva, celestial musician who is supposed to be the greatest musician in the Puranic universe.
Okay.
So one of the humorous stories about Tumburu is that Narada used to think that he is a great musician.
Okay.
So Narada goes and boasts to Vishnu that I am a great musician and nobody can beat me. So Vishnu says, Narada gets this kind of thought once in a while. So Vishnu says, okay, you go and meet Tumburu. He is in the heavens. He is the celestial singer. He sings about everyone. You go there and meet him. So Narada goes there and Narada waits for Tumburu for competition. Tumburu to come and compete with him. But Tumburu is not coming. Finally, Narada loses his patience. He goes inside asking why. He is sitting in the drawing room of Tumburu. Tumburu is not coming. Tumburu is sitting in his bedroom. So Narada mocks him and says that you are scared of competing with me. He goes inside and then there he sees that there are a lot of beautiful ladies, but their leg is broken, hand is broken, there is no nose for some of them, some are blind, some cannot talk. A lot of them are lying in different postures. It is like a general ward of a hospital. So many of them are there. Some are lying on the floor, some are on the bed. So Narada asked, who are these ladies, all these beautiful ladies? What has happened to them? Did they go for some war or something? What happened? So Tumburu says, no, these are all the Raginis. These are all the goddesses of the Ragas.
Yeah, the Ragas,
the Rag Devata hota hai na, Raginis. These are the Raginis.
Yeah. Got that, yeah.
These people got injured when you were singing.
Oh my God.
You have butchered them, all of them singing so badly. And they come here and I have to treat them. This is
to treat them.
I am not getting any time. I am playing the doctor here. I am not getting any time to sing at all. So let me make them proper. Then only I can come to compete with you.
Yeah.
So this lot of I doubt why we don't. I used to hear these kind of stories from the temples itself. And it was so entertaining and enlightening. Now we tell it in a very serious way. Even when I am doing it for television, I don't know the channel people or people don't allow to tell it in the way in which I had heard traditionally. Told by great scholars of this, they tell it with a sense of humor. Here, like the original Swami Chinmayananda, he is from my hometown. The great Swami Chinmayananda, who actually propagated Gita a lot. He's from my hometown, and he used to come to the temple. A lot of discourses used to happen. We used to go and sit there. A lot of arguments used to happen. That
Hmm.
Swamiji was somebody who could, as 5 year, 10-year-old kid, you can stand up and question him and he'll laugh
Huh.
it with humor.
Yeah. It is humorous. It's
Give
fun.
it back with humor. A lot of
Yeah.
humor he used to say. Quite humorous he was. So he used to tell this kind of stories. He
Hmm.
used to tell all these kind of. So this is how we all had learned it. But now we have become such a serious people,
Yeah, yeah,
and we
very
get
serious. Yeah.
offended at the drop of a hat, or offended at even somebody wearing some dress.
Yeah.
Including that,
Actually,
we are offended.
yeah, yeah. You also, you said this Asura way, talking about that, the Ravan. You've written that when you were young and you used to listen to these stories, you used to listen to it with glee, and your mother would be very concerned because you're hearing about these Asuras and Ravan. He ruled for thousands of years and they had fun, they played mischief, lived life king size. And then they get moksha also because the god comes on the battlefield and gives them moksha. You're like, oh, that's a great way to live your
Oh,
life,
that's a great way to live, right?
instead of
Rationally, we think it's the best way to live, no?
sacrificing and being very goody goody all your life. So
You
this,
go into you imagine. I heard these stories actually, fortunately or unfortunately, back to back. One day in the temple, the telling was about Harishchandra,
huh,
and the next thing was about Ravan. I
huh.
thought I don't want to be Harishchandra. Ravan is a much more fun.
Ravan is better.
Harishchandra's case, Harishchandra's story, if you really see, we'll think, what is the problem with this man? Harishchandra's story has always been told to say that you should always tell the truth. And it was a favorite story of Gandhiji also. And it was a favorite story of many people. It's a very virtuous story. When all Indian films started with Harishchandra, it was
Yeah,
there
yeah.
was an era at least
Tell the
70, 80
truth, huh?
years
Hmm.
ago that this was celebrated. That Harishchandra story was celebrated. Nothing wrong with that story. He was a great man. But practically, you think, for what does he do all these things? You go into the story. In his dream, Durvasa comes and asks for Dan. And
Hmm.
then later he comes in person, and this Harishchandra himself says that I had this dream and I was giving Dan to you, and then Durvasa says, okay, give me all those things. So
Hmm.
he invited trouble to himself, and then he starts giving everything. He gives the kingdom, he gives
Yeah,
away,
yeah.
he keeps his word, he does everything, including his son dies, and he's the
Hmm.
Harishchandra. Such a miserable life he is
Hmm.
leading. Finally, after everything, he is blessed.
Yeah.
And he gets moksha. Same thing Ravan also got. No,
Uh,
same thing Hiranyakashipu also got.
we were
What
all
is the
told
big
these
deal?
stories, as children, we've all heard about Harish Chandra.
We
Yeah, the
heard
same
about
thing Ravan got.
Harishchandra, and Ravan had a good deal. Ravan went on 10,000 years he ruled. He ruled
Yeah.
all 14 worlds. He had all the beautiful women for him. Got some curses in between, but everybody gets cursed. Even poor Shakuntala got cursed. What is
Yeah,
the big
yeah,
deal with Ravan? Shakuntala was sitting without doing anything. She was just dreaming about someone. For that also he gets cursed.
yeah.
Just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
So for Ravan doing all this nonsense, he is getting cursed. It's not a bad deal for him.
Not a bad deal at all. Huh.
Not a bad deal. No? People, just like that, people are sitting, they get cursed.
But you have said,
People,
like talking about Gandhiji, Ravan, Sita also, you have said that thing of, ahankar and all that. So you said that, that self-respect, pride is something that you admire in all these three people, and Gandhiji, you said he found his
honestly,
passion. Passion he found, right? I'm getting it right.
not
In
passion.
non-violence. Hmm.
I was talking about Gandhiji. Gandhiji used non-violence as a tool,
Hmm.
such a great tool,
Yeah.
that what is non-violence if you really think?
Yeah.
Non-violence is the biggest threat of
Right,
violence.
right. He used as a tool to channel his anger. That's what you said, no? Hmm.
Gandhiji's method is that I will sacrifice myself. You better listen to me, otherwise I will starve myself to death.
Yeah.
Gandhi dying as a person is also not a problem for Britishers. The
Hmm.
problem is Gandhiji talking about ahimsa and saying that I will not hurt you, I
Hmm.
will die. The threat is after what will happen after he dies.
Hmm.
Imagine a situation where in Yerwada jail, Irwin had put him, Lord Irwin was preparing the entire Indian army, hoping that Gandhi may die during the Quit India
Mm-hmm.
time. Gandhi
Yeah.
may die, and Wavell, I think, not Wavell, Lord Wavell, I think, I don't remember. He was a viceroy. Was
Hmm.
very devout Catholic. He was thinking that he compared himself to uh, what do you call the one who had Pilatus, no, the one who Pilatus in the old Bible,
Hmm.
who was a governor of Palestine when the Jerusalem when
Okay. Acha, I can't
Jesus
remember.
Christ
Sorry.
was crucified.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Jesus Christ was crucified. Then the
Hmm.
governor, the Roman governor, was there. So
Okay.
this
Hmm.
Indian viceroy, British viceroy, also used to think, "Wow, how will the history judge him
Yeah.
if
Yeah. Yeah.
Gandhi
Yeah. Yeah.
dies and he becomes
Hmm.
the Pilatus,
Hmm.
the Pilatus,
Hmm.
because that is also parallels are very much
Yeah. Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Jerusalem is a very old civilization, and
Hmm.
Rome, a very westernized materialistic civilization, comes and rules it.
Hmm.
There is
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
governor, and they crucify a
Hmm.
holy man who becomes a god later, and
Yeah. Yeah.
Pilatus
Yeah. Hmm.
becomes someone who was a ruler, kind of villain.
Right.
Pilatus washes his hands and says that I am not responsible for this. So here also he was doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
The threat of Gandhi was the moment he dies, the entire 40 crore Indians of that time will come out on the street with violence.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
the non-violence was like a gun kept on everyone's head.
Yeah, yeah. Very, very
That
strategic. Yeah. But you know what?
very
Now
sadly,
remember what you said, that when Chanakya was angry and, because he was treated,
Maurya Empire
insulted.
happened.
Yeah, the whole thing happened. And even with Gandhi, you said when he was thrown out of the train, he was angry. So you said that anger is misdirected. But, like with Chanakya, he learned to funnel it, literally channel it. So
I
anger is
say
a good
how
thing.
who had
Hmm.
anger is a very good thing, no? Like
Hmm.
Gandhi, so many people. Do you think Gandhi was the first or the last man who was thrown out of the South African train?
Hmm.
So many people would have been thrown out, and some
Yeah.
people would have expressed the anger by throwing a stone back on the train, and
Yeah.
then getting arrested and getting beaten up by the policeman.
Hmm.
Right? That's a
Hmm.
wrong way of showing your anger.
Right.
Gandhi was able to channel his anger, and that anger he carried throughout. He might not have been angry with the particular Englishman because it is a system which is doing it. He was angry about the system and he strived to change it in his own way. Chhatrapati Shivaji, the entire Maratha Empire, I talk about that. No, it
Yeah.
starts
Yeah.
from a
You've talked about that. Yeah. Hmm.
slight he feels when he was not given enough respect. From
By
there it starts.
by
An
Aurangzeb. Yeah.
entire
Hmm.
by
Hmm.
Aurangzeb.
Hmm.
Same thing happens with Chanakya also. Nanda doesn't show the respect, and Nanda's brothers throw him out.
Yeah.
And Chanakya vows that he will not
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah. His lock of hair. Yeah. Yeah.
lock of hair, the top knot,
Hmm.
until he destroys Nandas and puts a proper king in his place.
Hmm. Yeah.
So this is how the anger can be channelized.
Right.
Anger
Even
is
the
channelized.
Hmm. Even the self-respect bit, I found it interesting that you've mentioned Sita and you've mentioned Ravan, and you've compared Sudama. You said that Sudama went to Krishna, and basically his whole life was about bhakti and fate and waiting for God to give him things. So ultimately, all he got was some cows, right? And a good house. But Ravan got everything. No, and you said that, he asked for it with pride. Even Sita, she could have proved again her chastity and all that, but she said no. I'm not going to. So there was a certain pride throughout, in Sita's life also.
All these fascinating characters have that kind of pride. Who don't have the pride are the ones which came in the medieval literature when the Bhakti era started. Everybody is praying to God, everybody is crying to God.
Yeah. Huh.
Before that, if you see, all these people do a lot of work. They
Mm-hmm.
do, at least when they are doing tapasya, no? You read the earlier Puranas, they hang from the trees upside down. They
Huh.
have a trishul on their back. They hang from that. They put fire all around and sit at the middle of it. A lot of things they do. I think some hard work is involved. But if once you come to medieval era, all you have to do is just sit and pray, and the God will come. This is how we got destroyed.
Yeah,
God didn't come. A lot of invaders came and they ruled us while we were
exactly.
busy praying. While we were busy praying,
Hmm. Yeah, that God come and save us.
God come and save us. No, God came and save us. No,
Yeah,
finally we
yeah,
ourselves had to fight.
yeah.
So it is like forgetting. Imagine. if they say Sudama story and all come in Bhagavatam. So they say Vyasa didn't find peace after writing Mahabharata, so he wrote Bhagavatam of this bhakti literature. But for me, I find that Arjun also could have done that. No, why tell the Gita? Arjun also could have sat and cried like Sudama. I don't have anything. And he's a friend of Krishna.
Krishna anyway. Cousins also, I
Krishna
think.
anyway. Krishna could have just given him
Cousins
cousins
also.
also.
Yeah.
Correct. Forget cousins. He is a great devotee and a great friend of Krishna. No? So the same thing, because these were written in two different periods. That's why we have two different kind of Krishnas here. One Krishna tells him to use all the strategy and fight. If you want to lie and win. It's Asura Way. That's a Krishna of Mahabharata. That's a Krishna who tells him to fight and kill your uncle and kill your cousins so that you will win and get what you want.
Yeah.
The perfect Asura Way.
Perfect
call
Asura
it.
Way.
Bhagavad Gita. But after that, what they do is to Guru they lie, to Bhishma they keep all Asura techniques. And I appreciate it. I'm not criticizing them. I think that is.
It's your choice, no? Like you said, with whatever you want to follow.
It's your choice. So Arjuna followed the proper Asura Way, like Arjuna and all the Pandavas. Bring Chigandi, bring what do you call, tell a lie, hit below the belt from Duryodhana.
Yeah.
Everything they say which is unethical, everything was done. Winning the war, it's a good thing. It's a correct, perfect Asura thing. No, I'm only talking about to follow the Pandavas. I'm not telling anything else.
Yeah.
I'm saying don't follow Sudama. Just don't sit and beg and expect that the God will come and give you something. Because you are not the classmate of God. Sudama
exactly.
So fight like Arjuna and exactly what Gita said. Fight like Arjuna. Get the correct message from it.
Get the correct message. Yeah. So you tell me, you've also written right in the beginning when your book starts, you've written about this toxic boss you had, and this colleague used to had a picture and throw darts at him. That was very interesting. And you said you were miserable till you followed this path of, whatever non-Asura path. So tell me, when did this change happen? When did this click in your mind? Oh, okay, I'm doing this wrong.
No, I started reading back and going back to all these tales, and I found that I was reading it all wrong because they had written it properly. Why did a culture like India write Panchatantra? Read Panchatantra not as a children's book. Read it in the original. It is a looping tale. Now what you get for 50 rupees Panchatantra from the train is a very sugar-coated version. The real Panchatantra and the Hitopadesha, if you read, it is 10 times what Krishna said. It's all about strategy. It's all about winning in life. It's all about winning materialistically in life. See all the tales of Vikram Vetal. It is all about how the princess and prince and princesses used or ministers used some technique or other, seduce people, kill people, and how to win the wars and take the power. This is a culture which wrote about Kama Sutra. This is a culture which wrote about Panchatantra and Hitopadesha. And these were taught to kids, Rajakumars. It is full of trickery. If you read Panchatantra, it's full of trickery.
I'll go back and read it now.
Read Panchatantra and Hitopadesha.
Yeah.
Because what happened? We forgot all these lessons. So what will you do when the invader came? We will say that it is our honor. Our women will jump into the fire, and you will go and fight without any strategy and get killed by them, and they rule you for 500 years, 700 years, 800 years, 1000 years. The moment you broke all this code of conduct, like what Chhatrapati Shivaji did, then everything changed.
Yeah.
He used the Vatnaka and finished it off, right? Had he thought that, no, chivalrously I will fight face to face. Even Lord Ram doesn't use it. He hides behind a tree and kills Bali.
Yeah.
So everybody has used it.
Everybody.
Don't go by what they have talked. Don't go by what they have. A lot of pundits have tried to tell you that this is the meaning of it. Just go by the actions of all.
By the actions, yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
go by the action of Vishwamitra. Just go by the Vishwamitra and Vashishta had such an ego war that
Yeah.
entire Purana sections are dedicated for both of them fighting and killing each other's kids.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very colorful. Even that poor Trishanku, I mean, they just hung him in the middle of, of heaven and earth, no?
He got caught in the. This is what happens when you believe in Babas. You
Yeah.
get hang upside down. The clear, you had to read the right message from this kind of tale.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
hanging upside down because he believed in Babas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he was right to believe, but the Babas had their own ego tussle, no? One is sending him up, one is bringing him down. So, like,
No,
really.
he was not right to. He was not right to believe. One of the fundamental lessons of the story is that anybody who offers you heaven, whichever religion you belong, you follow
Mm,
them, you will be hanging upside down,
you'll
neither
be
here nor
hanging
there.
up. Yeah, that's the lesson.
That's the meaning of that. That's a lesson which I took from Trishangu's story.
Yeah. So tell me, how
It's a
did you
Charvaka.
change your life?
No, I went back to it and I started analyzing it through the actions of all these characters rather than the words.
Yeah,
Anybody can give any words. No, every politician gives so many words.
yeah, yeah.
You get so many propaganda from all hues of politicians. Once
Hmm.
upon a time, it was Garibi Hatavo. Now, then it became India shining. Now, good times have come. But look
Mm-hmm.
around, everything is the same,
Yeah, everything's the same. Yeah.
irrespective of the party. I'm not talking about
Hmm.
any
Yeah, yeah, of
political
course, of
party.
course. Generally.
This is what religions also do, no? That
Yeah.
one day the kingdom of God is going to come. You are going to get a better life in the next life. Why
Hmm.
not in this life?
Not this life, huh?
It's always a post-dated check of imaginary bank. That's what they do.
Huh.
So all this kind of propaganda will be there. But go by what all these people do. Just put it how to think like a Charvaka, the Indian rational method. The traditional Indian rational method is go by the action of each of the characters. Did
Hmm.
Brahma have lust? Did Brahma the creator, did he have lust or not?
Of course, huh? Hmm.
He lusted. Go and read about Brahma. How did he lose his one of the head?
Yeah, yeah.
Why did he lose it?
Hmm.
I don't want to tell it now, and somebody may get offended.
I know, I know, I
But
know. Huh. Yeah,
let
yeah, I've
them go
read
and
that.
read it.
Right.
Take every character. No, how did they behave? Shiva is famous for his anger. And you tell
Yeah.
everyone nobody should have anger.
Yeah, I mean, Ganesh he cut off his head because he was angry. But that's a famous story which everybody knows. Huh.
Everybody
Okay.
knows. So go by the action of each of the characters, and it is not restricted to only the Hinduism. Go by the action of the God in every religion.
Hmm.
Concept of God in every religion. God gets angry and destroys entire cities. He brings
Hmm.
flood. He looks like a psychopath and a sadist, right?
Yeah. Huh.
Is a you feel like in comparison, you feel like the typical God which many of the religions show. Indian concept of God is separate. That's a different discussion. But if you go to the
Hmm.
Abrahamic religion, the kind of God which is being propagated, without mincing words, I am telling, is a very
Hmm.
sadistic, psychopathic God
Hmm.
who
So,
destroys Sodom, who destroys this, that,
yeah, yeah.
brings plague. Just like why? Because he gets angry,
Hmm. Hmm. Huh,
and
this
then
was,
we should
yeah.
not. But we should control our anger.
Hmm.
But you have created us in your image, right? And we will
Hmm.
be like you only. Of course, we don't have your kind of strength. I can't destroy an entire city, but I can destroy some cups and plates in my home, right?
Yeah, this show and BBC show, no, this Good Omens, they had that, you know. It was a
Uh,
satire, really, and that poor Job, Moses, I mean, everything he's losing, and he's like, no, I believe in God, I believe in God, So it's very similar in all religions, really. And then
See
he is
now,
rewarded. Huh.
imagine this. We always used to have the courage to criticize and talk and debate
Hmm.
about these kind of things. So every rishis, if you see, like or the medieval rishis, even take the case of Basava. He
Hmm.
rejected most of these things. No, he
Hmm.
rejected and he said Kartavya itself is the Shiva, Kaivalya Shiva. So take the case of any of the Mirabai was a big rebel. So
Hmm.
all of them rebelled actually. The people who rebelled are the rishis actually, right? It's not a
Hmm.
established church we never had.
Yeah.
When we were doing all these things, the Catholic Church, the Islamic clergy, all of them had the concept of blasphemy. The Jewish. They were burning people for questioning.
Hmm.
You won't get away by mocking the god in the medieval Europe.
Hmm.
Even telling the earth is round got people in trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
Even talking about solar system got people in trouble.
Yeah.
So this was what they were, and we could easily. There are books which criticize each of the philosophies radically, and there used to happen a lot of debates.
Hmm.
Now
That
where
was the
we are,
culture.
now they are able to take pictures mocking their religion. They are able to talk openly about it. They are able to debate, and they are at the top now.
Yeah, and
When
we
we were
can't.
at the top, we were like that.
Yeah,
Now we are becoming like the medieval era.
exactly.
Now you
Whoever can
can't
do
talk
that
about any of
is
these things
at the top. Yeah, absolutely.
because they are
Mm.
using their rational sense and they are using the Asura method, and that only is going to take you to the top.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. So tell me, like the lot of things you've said, in the Asura way that, if you have a breakup, you lose your job, throw a party, move on, right?
Hmm.
So I'm just
Hmm.
throwing some scenarios at you. Now, suppose like you've said anything, like in the Mahabharata to win, right? So suppose you have, you're on a sales job and you have unrealistic targets to meet. Then how do you do the Asura way? How do you use it?
First thing is why there is an unrealistic target.
Hmm.
Because you were scared to confront the guy who gave you the unrealistic target.
True. Yeah.
First itself, you are lost in your Asura way. You are being an obedient guy who should not talk back to elders, to
Yeah, yeah.
seniors. This is how they teach you
Respectful.
at the home. No,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
respect is not earned. Just
Hmm.
because you are elder, you get respect. Just because
Hmm.
you are the parent, you get respect. You have
Hmm.
to earn the respect even from a kid, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But you are taught that you will have to respect all these things. Whether they deserve respect or not, you have to show respect. So once you
Hmm.
come from kind of training, society and they are training you to be like that.
Hmm.
The office also you behave the same way. You will never
Yeah.
tell the truth. Even now, after practicing so many things, even now, many times I find it difficult to assert because this training is very strong in your
And you feel that is
DNA.
your character, no? It's your character. So you're like rebelling against your
It
character.
becomes
Yeah, your good character.
because you love your parents. Most of us, exceptions will be there also, but most of us love our parents. Because of that, there is
Yeah.
a respect to that. So we think that everything they told is true. But that may not be true
Hmm.
because that is true for the period in which they grew up. They
Hmm.
also could have made a lot of mistakes. Everything they
Hmm.
did is not true. Even when Krishna can say that, I have told you what, and now you use your rationality to Arjuna, why can't we tell the same thing to our kids? And why can't we, if Krishna is also giving a possibility to Arjuna that he could be wrong. So he's
Right.
asking you to use rationality.
Yeah.
Buddha tells that don't believe in anything just because it is told in some scriptures, just because some gurus have told it, just because your guru has told it, just because your parents have told it, just because I in the sense Buddha has told it. Think about it and then only act.
Yeah.
This is what our earlier masters used to emphasize again and again and again. And where did we end up with? Un, Unquestioned obedience. And what
Hmm.
did it make us? When the Mughals came, we unquestionably obeyed them. Most of us. When British came, we unquestionably obeyed them.
Hmm.
And now, when all the MNCs have come, you are working for all of them. We are unquestionably obeying your boss. So they give you a crazy target. He gives a crazy target because he or she gives a crazy target because his boss would have given a crazy target. So he adds 10% to it and gives it to you. By the time it reaches to you, it is almost an impossible target to achieve. Then your life is miserable. Day and night, you are having. Assert it then and there that this cannot be, this is not possible.
Yes. And what about leadership? The Asura way for leaders. Like, how can they inspire their team to do better or whatever, Like you said, you're pushing, your boss is pushing, you're pushing your teams. How does that work?
Self interest. Appeal to the self interest of the individual.
Okay.
Always.
Huh.
Because that is in your DNA. Self preservation is in your DNA. So when you humiliate somebody in front of everyone, already your self-preservation instinct is rebelling against it, whether you like it or not. So it all comes, if you think like an asura, it all comes naturally. So you may humiliate somebody if you want to destroy them. That's a separate thing. But your aim is not to destroy them, but to get the maximum result out of them. Then you will never humiliate them.
Yeah.
So even when you are humiliating somebody as a goal, sometimes that is also required. Then
Hmm.
you are doing it strategically. So
Right.
asuras don't act by impulse. They have a great strategy always. They forget that strategy and try to become like anything else. That day they fail.
Hmm. Okay, that
So
makes sense.
it
Now, suppose,
appeal always to self-interest.
right. So I'll just ask you just one thing. Like, you've talked about
Yeah.
manifestation and, even putting up something on an ego wall. So we can just end with that. You can just tell me, like, what works for you and what you suggest.
I will always say be atrociously ambitious and write that down and declare it to the world. 99% of it you may achieve. Some percent of it you will not achieve. The moment you achieve, you understand that you never put an impossible goal. So put a higher goal. You always declare what is required, what you want to be in life. You always, you may not know what you want to be in life, that is a great thing, but whatever it is, it should be something which people will say you can't even dream about it. When you start dreaming about things which can't be dreamt, things will fall in place. That's the first thing.
Hmm.
Second thing, tell it to everyone. Don't shy away. Don't keep it inside you. Declare it to everyone. I keep declaring wherever possible, whatever all I could do, including I have declared in many places that in 5 to 10 years, we will be leading the world cinema. We will be taking the Indian stories across the world. Maybe I will do it. Maybe someone else will do it. Bahubali and all were just the beginning. We will create such great things, and I keep expanding my targets. I even go to the extent of saying that one day I will rule this country. I may not. That is a great thing.
Yeah,
But I will declare it openly.
right.
Let people mock you, make fun of you. It doesn't matter. Everybody starts like that.
But it's out there. Yeah.
Huh?
But it's out there in the universe. Yeah.
Now, what if even if you fail, you would have done something. No? You would cease to be nobody.
Hmm. Of course.
Never chase contentment. There is nothing called contentment in life. Discontentment is the energy.
Yeah, yeah, that you've repeated in
What
the
do you say?
book that, if you're content, then you have to question something has to change in life.
You will be contented when you are dead. Some may
Absolutely.
be, some may be not even then. They haunt us as ghosts.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks, Anand. I won't take more of your time, but
Thank
I
you.
think for anything more on this, people will have to read the book, right? The Asura Way. Yeah.
Thank you. And I will be also available for any corporate training or somebody wants individual training. I will be available or both online and offline. But I will be talking about things like this.
Okay, fantastic. And where can
How,
one
how
contact
to
you?
get it. You can write to mail to me. My team will take care. Then
Okay,
mail
fantastic.
at mail at asura.co.in. Then it's a corporate program and other things. I do that. I do
Okay.
corporate training programs based on the Asura techniques of how to take care.
Yeah, I think I should join that also. Yeah, fantastic.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.